Hello and good day, welcome to our YouTube channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be a fast, concise overview. Book of Nahum, chapter 3. Let's get started now. The Book of Nahum, chapter 3 is the final chapter of the prophetic book in the Old Testament of the Bible. It contains a prophecy of the destruction of Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire. The chapter begins with a description of Nineveh's wickedness and ends with a declaration of its downfall. Throughout the chapter, the focus is on the justice of God and the consequences of rejecting Him. The first verse of the chapter describes Nineveh as a city of bloodshed, highlighting the idea that the city was characterized by violence and cruelty. This description emphasizes the idea that the city was guilty of great sins and deserving of judgment. The second verse continues the description of Nineveh's wickedness, stating that it was full of lies and plunder. This description emphasizes the idea that the city was corrupt and dishonest, using its power and wealth to exploit others. The third verse describes the consequences of Nineveh's sins, stating that the Lord will bring shame upon the city and expose its nakedness to the world. This description emphasizes the idea that God will not allow sin to go unpunished, and that the consequences of sin will be publicly exposed. The fourth and fifth verses continue the description of Nineveh's downfall, stating that its defenses will be destroyed and that its people will be scattered. This description emphasizes the idea that God's judgment will be complete and final, leaving nothing of Nineveh's power or influence behind. The sixth verse describes the fate of Nineveh's leaders, who will flee the city in fear. This description emphasizes the idea that those who have wielded power unjustly will not be able to escape the consequences of their actions. The seventh and eighth verses describe the reaction of the world to Nineveh's downfall, stating that other nations will be happy to see the city destroyed. This description emphasizes the idea that the justice of God is not just for the benefit of the people of Nineveh, but for all those who have suffered at their hands. The ninth and 10th verses describe the plunder of Nineveh's treasures, emphasizing the idea that those who have lived in luxury and wealth will eventually be brought low. The 11th and 12th verses continue the description of Nineveh's downfall, stating that the city's fortifications will be destroyed and its people will be consumed by fire. This description emphasizes the idea that God's judgment will be swift and severe, leaving nothing of Nineveh's power or influence behind. The final verses of the chapter declare that Nineveh will be utterly destroyed, with no one to comfort it or bring it back to life. This declaration emphasizes the finality of God's judgment, and the idea that those who reject Him will suffer the consequences of their actions. The Book of Nahum, chapter 3 teaches several important lessons that can be applied to our day-to-day lives. First, it emphasizes the importance of living in obedience to God's commands. Nineveh's downfall was a direct result of its wickedness, and the chapter serves as a warning that those who persist in sin will eventually face the consequences of their actions. Second, the chapter emphasizes the idea that the justice of God will be swift and severe. Those who have lived in luxury and wealth will eventually be brought low, and those who have wielded power unjustly will not be able to escape the consequences of their actions. Finally, the chapter emphasizes the idea that God's judgment is not just for the benefit of the people of Nineveh, but for all those who have suffered at their hands. This lesson reminds us that we should strive to live justly and to seek justice for those who have been wronged. In conclusion, the Book of Nahum, chapter 3 is a powerful reminder of God's justice and the consequences of rejecting Him. The chapter paints a vivid picture of the downfall of Nineveh, a city that was guilty of great sins and deserving of judgment. Through this prophecy, we learn the importance of living in obedience to God's commands, the swift and severe nature of God's judgment, and the importance of seeking justice for those who have been wronged. As we reflect on the teachings of the Book of Nahum, chapter 3, may we strive to live justly and in obedience to God, knowing that His justice will ultimately prevail. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible chapter below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.